Did you know that whales used to walk on land? Last night, while I was trying to fall asleep, my brain decided to throw me one of its favorite tricks. What if everything I think I know about animals is wrong? And that's how I ended up thinking about whales. Because yes, one of the strangest and most well-documented stories in evolution is this. Whales used to walk on land. Not metaphorically, not kind of. They were four-legged, hoofed mammals. About 50 million years ago, the ancestors of whales lived on land in what is now India and Pakistan, back when that region was a warm coastal environment. These animals weren't giants. They were roughly wolf-sized, covered in fur, and perfectly capable of walking. The earliest known one is called Pakicetus. Pakicetus lived mostly on land but stayed close to water. It still had four legs and hooves, but here's the first big clue. The bones of its inner ear were already shaped like those of modern whales. That ear structure is specialized for hearing underwater. In other words, even though it walked on land, its head was already evolving for life in water. A few million years later, we see the next step. Ambulocetus, which literally means walking whale. This animal lived around 48 million years ago and looked a bit like a furry crocodile. It could walk on land, but not gracefully, and it could swim by pushing with its powerful back legs. Its feet were large and paddle-like, acting almost like early flippers. This was a true amphibious mammal, comfortable in both worlds. Then evolution kept going. By around 40 million years ago, we get animals like Basilosaurus. Despite the name, it wasn't a lizard. It was fully aquatic and lived entirely in the ocean. It had an elongated, eel-like body and swam using a powerful tail. But here's the weird part. It still had tiny hind legs. They were no longer useful for walking, and they didn't even touch the ground. They were vestigial, evolutionary leftovers from its land-walking ancestors. So how do we know this isn't just guesswork? First, the fossil record. We have a clear sequence of fossils showing legs gradually shrinking, bodies becoming more streamlined, and nostrils slowly moving from the front of the face towards the top of the head. That movement is how we eventually get the blowhole. Second, DNA evidence. Genetic studies show that the closest living relatives of whales are hippopotamuses. They share a common land-dwelling ancestor. This wasn't obvious at first, but once the genetics were analyzed, the relationship became undeniable. Third, anatomy. Inside the whale flippers, the bones are arranged just like a hand or a dog's paw. They are finger bones, joints, and the same basic layout. Just stretch, flattened, and repurposed for swimming. And there's one more subtle but important clue. Movement. Whales swim by moving their tails up and down vertically. That's the same motion land mammals use when they run, flexing their spines. Fish, in contrast, move their tails side to side. Whales never adopted fish pattern because they didn't come from fish. They came from mammals that already move vertically. Because whales are mammals that return to the sea, they never lost their mammal traits. They still breathe air, give birth to live young, produce milk, and even have tiny hair when they are born. No matter how perfectly adapted they are to the ocean, they are still fundamentally land animals that went back. And that's what makes this story so remarkable. Evolution didn't plan whales. It didn't design them from scratch. It reshaped something that already existed, step by step, over millions of years, until a walking mammal became one of the largest animals to ever live on Earth. I'm Mari, and this is Midnight Question.